Welcome to another vlog. I write down everything in Google Docs, you know, scripts, skits, whatever else I'm gonna do for videos. And I came across something from college, and turns out this is the very first video essay or essay that I tried writing to sound like I was trying to argue a point or something. I was an English major in college, so of course I took this is college writing too, and you know, I didn't want to be the boring kid or whatever who chose, oh, let's do a topic about Asian immigration, or let's do a topic about foods from this or that country. No, I wanted to do something that was just my route and then just go along with it. And of course the professor had to approve it, and she approved it, so here it is. Also, I was kind of in a you're at the end of the semester, you're just kind of trying to get shit done, so I'm just like, screw it, we'll do it this way. You know, instead of just writing like an actual literary essay, I looked up video essays, you know, and the very first person that I really came across was Ryan Hollinger and his video essays on horror movies. And I just kind of took that aspect and then threw it onto paper, and well, that's how I'm doing my video essays now on this channel. So now we'll take a look at my very first video essay I ever wrote. And there's definitely gonna be grammatical errors, all that, but who cares? I make a bunch of grammatical errors on my scripts. I just fix it in post. FYI, I passed this class with a B, with this as the final essay that I wrote for the class. One Punch Man, a Japanese satire on the American superhero. We currently live within the world where superhero films are at the peak of their popularity, and the fans who go to see them have become very familiar with the oh fuck. Well, now you're seeing me screw up my script reading in real time. We become very familiar with the multitude of characters that are on screen. But when we look further beyond our own horizons and into the land of the rising sun that is Japan, we get a very different hero that cleverly parodies the American superhero stereotypes. However, while there are anime enthusiasts who, what the fuck? My camera just cut out midway for me. Okay then. However, while there are anime enthusiasts who see him as the subversion of the ultimate hero trope, quoted or from Thaddeus House, I forgot what the source is. There are also others who view him as a static character in the context of storytelling. This paper argues that while the character of Saitama, aka One Punch Man, was created as a satire with the intention, I swear, when I say certain words over and over, certain keywords over and over, it kind of bothers me. Like, I need to expand the vocabulary a bit. This paper argues that while the character of Saitama was created as a satire with the intention to poke fun at superhero tropes, it contains a hidden depth that cleverly writes a static character to serve a complex purpose within its story. And now that I'm looking at it, that was just the intro. I think I could have done a better intro, but you just gotta get shit done in college. Comic books were created through a natural evolution. Cartoons developed into comic books, first through publications containing compilations of cartoon reprints, then as books with original cartoon artwork, before reaching critical mass through the creation of superheroes in 1938, quoted by Jesse Kowalski on some article about comic books. The idea of a superhero was made popular through the creation of the Superman character by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster in 1938. Through one of his comics, Superman was described as a champion of the oppressed, the physical marvel, who sworn to devote his existence to helping those in need. Yes, I just realized I quoted a fucking comic book. Can you believe that? Wow. Yeah, this is really how the recording sessions go. Like, you probably don't see it on here, but on the left side of my desk is like 3-4 water bottles. I'll pick that up later, I swear. This is one of the first instances where we are given an ideal of what Superman, a superhero, should stand for. A selfless savior who will stand up for others and always do the right thing. This archetype would later be expanded upon through the creation of Spider-Man, with the memorable words of how, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. Through Superman, Spider-Man, and countless many other superheroes that were created after them, majority of the superheroes held onto the morals of righteousness and responsibility within their characters. While the basic morality of a superhero was created, it would later be twisted around to give it more of a fresh take on characters, Generic superheroes who always fought for good would eventually become plain and boring to readers. Thus, the invention of anti-heroes would later be created to define another meaning and spectrum to the word hero. Should have put quotes there. From Canadian undercover agents like the Wolverine to alien-human symbiotic hybrid beings like Venom, the comic book industry began to change. Part 2, The One Punch Man. So how does a superhero from a Japanese anime fit into the category of American heroes? Well, it fits in by borrowing the ideals of what makes a hero while also making fun of it. The ongoing story of One Punch Man is about an average man who has trained himself relentlessly to become ridiculously powerful to the point where he defeats each villain he encounters with a single punch. However, instead of fighting for the greater good or becoming powerful, like most contemporary comic book protagonists, Saitama, aka One Punch Man, is a hero for fun. That's probably I just realized I probably published this where it says insert manga issue of where he said it. And I'm pretty sure that's how I gave the paper. I completely forgot to cite that. So, oh well. When readers/viewers are introduced to the character, he is already established to be at the peak of his power and longs to fight an opponent that matches his strength. Most heroes at the beginning of their stories are either powerless and ordinary, or powerful and trying to be ordinary. But when it comes to the story of One Punch Man, Saitama is neither of those. The character himself is further expanded upon the world surrounding him. In the world of One Punch Man, becoming a hero is an actual career that is very similar to becoming a police officer. Those who want to apply to a job as a hero go through entry tests where their physical abilities are tested before being granted a rank of S, A, B, or C. Not only does this include a change in how superheroes work, but it also adds in a separate perspective, different from the Western one, where heroes roam freely without being questioned. Unlike most superheroes, Saitama wears unusual colors and is completely bald, whereas other superheroes would have nicely stylized haircut and a complementary color palette on their costume. Superhero color theory, damn, I really went there, didn't I? Superhero color theory suggests that primary colors such as red and blue are on the most well-known superheroes, like Spider-Man and Superman, for example. The combination of red and blue show wisdom, depth, passion, and determination, unlike Saitama's yellow and white. However, they do represent energy and purity in the words of cartoonist Brian McLaughlin. This is what would make Saitama's yellow and white color scheme the new blue and red. While the story and world in itself is great and all, it is all judged by the viewers themselves. As Turkish writer Mehmet Murat Ilden would put it, the viewer watching the view is also being watched by the view, so every viewer is also a view and every view a viewer. Work your head around that. Part 3, the Gary Stu. Gary Stu, or in other cases Mary Sue when referring to a female character, is a name given to a character who shows little to no flaws and is perfect at everything. These type of characters, while a fascinating spectacle at times, has nothing for the viewer/reader to relate to, and other times it breaks the narrative. Non-Gary Stu/Mary Sues are given flaws that either progress or breaks a character in their development. Without them, they become boring and bland. I'm starting to realize I probably could have ended this class with an A had I cite my bullshit sources. I didn't cite them. Authors often get caught up in the wish fulfillment and forget that characters need to be flawed and real. Spark Press. Take the film Star Wars The Last Jedi, for example. Oh god. I mean, I still don't like The Last Jedi, but I think it's an okay Star Wars movie. I just wouldn't watch it again. That's it. Because all the stuff that was built up from Force Awakens just kind of got thrown out the window. And then Part 9, Rise of Skywalker, they're like, no, we got to bring that back. So it's just like a sequel trilogy is like, it's fun visually. I love the stars and people that are in there, but man, that story is just a fucking mess. Okay, back to the essay. Gotta drink water. Take the film Star Wars The Last Jedi, for example. Many fans have come to voice their dislike for how the character of Rey has been written within the film. She starts out as a strong protagonist and becomes even more powerful, but there is no clear progression of her power and her character traits. Using the Force without any formal training and knowing the Millennium Falcon better than Han Solo does not add anything to her character, but rather proves that she is perfect at everything, thus making her a Mary Sue. I still agree with that sentiment, but I do like how Part 9 made her more of a character, so I can agree with that. And knowing the Millennium Falcon better than Han Solo does not add anything to her character, but rather proves that she is perfect at everything, thus making her a Mary Sue. Saitama from One Punch Man can also be categorized as a Gary Stu. He always defeats a villain with little to no effort, and never has a truly weak point within his own story. While he is referred to as overpowered and overrated, these opinions are only common from a few Western anime fans from various anime forums who either disliked or didn't favor One Punch Man. Audience members who did not favor it still enjoyed its characters and comedy, even if some comedic tropes became repeated at times. Meanwhile, those who disliked it mainly disliked the hype all around it. Majority of the praise / hype for the show / manga itself is not just it being a superhero based one, but a new fresh work of art and animation. Saitama's character may be bland to a small crowd, but he is a static character with a continuously moving world. He could be labeled a Gary Stu, but being a Gary Stu is the entire point of his character. He is awfully powerful and an incorruptible force of good around an evolving world in order to serve the purpose of creating a satire on superheroes and subverting the hero trope. My god, that was... I definitely want to rewrite the whole that, but I can see why I gotta be Part 4 from a certain point of view. Given how popular the characters of Marvel and DC comics have become in this current day and age, there are people who have grown fatigued or saturated with the two genres, but that is only from one certain point of view. As stated by Abby Moore, superheroes are modern mythology, a renewed pantheon of secular gods and goddesses modeled after our pantheonic religions. Relations between character and reader can go more than just one direct way, since every reader has a different perspective of character based on their experiences. People see a part of themselves in fictional characters and admire their outstanding skills and power while also acknowledging their flaws in order to relate to them. Unlike a Gary Stu / Mary Sue character, relating to a character is more than just making a connection to an average Joe, but forming growth between reader and character. If you're developing a good character, they're going to be interesting. They're going to be good at some things. Then you're going to create a story that tests them in ways they are not prepared for. Stories about what they can't do or what is hard for them to do, rather than about what they can do. This idea from Brandon Sanderson's lecture weighs heavily upon all characters, including One Punch Man's Saitama. Saitama, while an overpowered and overrated anime hero in the eyes of some, he fits into the archetype of being an actual character and not a Gary Stu. The creator of One Punch Man, who goes under the alias of One, was stated on Reddit through a translation of an interview seen on comicbook.com that, quote, because the very first chapter I came up with was a protagonist who's really tough, and from the creator's perspective, extremely reliable, I haven't felt any reservations about introducing troublesome characters into the series. As long as Saitama's there, all would be well, end quote. One further elaborates on the character's intentions by comparing Saitama's story to reality. Quote, punching is oftentimes pretty useless against life's problems, but inside One Punch Man's universe, I made Saitama a sort of guy who was capable of adapting his life to the world that surrounded him, only armed with his immense power. The only obstacles he faces are mundane things, like running short of money, end quote. This is where the hidden depth within the character of Saitama begins to show that he is more than just a superhero. Saitama is a superhuman, you could say, living like an average Joe whose job is mind-numbingly boring, if you count defeating villains in one punch, worrying about paying rent, keeping an eye on grocery store sales, and recovering his youth, if youth is finding an evenly matched opponent to test your strength. Part 5, the conclusion. One Punch Man shows us that while it's making fun of superhero and anime/manga tropes, it is doing cleverly so as a commentary on storytelling and character. We get our protagonist already at his peak, entering a world where his morals, that he has already come to follow through on, quote, being a hero for fun, are tested but never really change. Thus, we get a static superhero within an ever-changing world where new villains and heroes are constantly made. It can be argued that we as an audience get no character development but spectacle from One Punch Man. Yet Saitama's character is perfect for the sake of being perfect. Subverting the hero trope in mangas, after all, was the goal of author/artist One. Well done, 2019 Anthony. It was some errors, but you wrote your first essay and eventually you'd do video essays, and you did. I think it's solid. There's material for a video. Like, if I was to rewrite this now and make it an actual video essay, it would probably be a little bit better. But yeah, just thought I'd share a old essay and how my video essay writing process would eventually come to be. Oh well. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I'm just literally trying to make content, even if this is very off the cuff and just out of nowhere. See you in the next video.